All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. We are tracing the absolutely wild, stat-grinding, zero-to-hero journey of a cursed dark mage navigating a modern Earth completely overrun by monsters. If you're a fan of a protagonist who just completely ignores the rules and speed runs a rigid military hierarchy using pure, unadulterated power, you are definitely in for a ride today. Now, you might be wondering what actually happens when a cursed dark mage brings his otherworldly powers back to modern-day Earth. Well, what's really interesting here is that our guy, Kim Min-jun, isn't your typical freshly awakened hero. Not even close. He's a hardened, exhausted veteran who just spent 2 brutal years surviving the literal hellscape of Isgard. He already hit the level cap in another dimension, so coming back to Earth, that should have been a vacation. But, fate had other plans. Just look at the sheer chaos of this timeline. At age 7, dungeons and monsters just suddenly appear on Earth. Fast forward to 12th grade, right when he's just trying to play his favorite PC games, Minjin gets violently summoned to Isgard to fight evil. 2 years later, he finally makes it back, only to find Earth hasn't recovered at all. It's been totally ravaged, and civilian safety is basically in the hands of this militarized force called the Awakened Hunters. And honestly, the worst part for him? The internet is barely functional, which means no online gaming. I absolutely love this next detail because it hits the nail on the head for Minjin's personality. Unlike those typical heroes who nobly sacrifice their powers to return home, Minjin refuses to be played like that. The goddess who summoned him tries to strip his dark magic away before sending him back. But what does he do? He literally flips her the gird, betrays her, and dips through his own multidimensional portal so he can keep all his dark powers. It's so self-serving, and honestly, it's incredibly refreshing to see. So, because of this, Minjin's Dark Mage's status completely shatters the established rules of Earth's Hunter Corps. Think about it. Regular Awakened Hunters are using standard mana, fighting in massive coordinated squads, and relying on clunky armor that costs tens of millions of won. Meanwhile, Minjin, he runs purely on absorbed demonic energy, he's solo clearing massive bosses, and if his magic actually runs dry, he just falls back on his insane physical stats and literally beats monsters into the ground with his bare hands. The military literally has no idea what they're dealing with. Let's move right into Section 1, the overpowered military recruit, shattering crystals and breaking records. Okay, so right after returning to a ruined Earth, Minjin gets drafted into this brutal military training camp. But instead of flying under the radar, he decides he's going to speed run his way to the top, mostly just to score better food and get access to the PC room. To test raw power, the instructors bring out a massive red crystal. This is a super dense dungeon rock that regular recruits can't even budge. Minjin casually steps up, winds up, and just deletes it. I mean, he turns it into premium dust with one casual punch. The instructor's brains basically blue screen on the spot. And top-tier recruits who trained their whole lives are just left completely in the dust. 19. That is the insane number of hits he racks up out of 20 during his very first high-recoil firearms training. And keep in mind, these are not standard rifles. They fire absolute hand cannons meant to pierce monster hides. He instantly becomes the #1 shooter in his unit. It just proves that his raw physical stats, his reaction times, and his overall battle IQ are completely off the charts. All right, moving to Section 2, reclaiming the dark arts, transforming dungeons and dark hounds. Now, raw physical strength is great, but Minjin desperately needs demonic energy to actually fuel his magic. During a routine assessment, things go horribly wrong. The dungeon mutates into a transforming enclosed dungeon. The exit vanishes, the walls constantly shift, and you're trapped until every monster is dead. To make matters worse, this suffocating wave of demonic energy hits them, and the seasoned military instructors literally pass out. This leaves the terrified rookie recruits entirely on their own. Talk about a nightmare scenario. But for Minjin, this isn't a crisis. It's literally an all-you-can-eat buffet. Instead of panicking, he ditches the screaming recruits, tracks that demonic energy, and comes face-to-face with a massive darkhound from Isgard, a beast so toxic its blood melts human skin. And what does he do? He obliterates it with a single punch to the jaw. Then he just gleefully absorbs its venomous demonic energy, getting his very first real magical refuel since landing back on Earth. This is absolutely crucial, because it reboots his progression. Getting his stats back is a massive turning point. His system window pops back up, and hilariously, his class is still labeled Cult Founder of Luminuna, which was just a joke cult he made back in Isgard. His strength, agility, and stamina hit a solid 60, he banks 10 demonic energy, and boom, he unlocks his first real dark magic skill, Corruption. The Dark Mage is officially back in business. Let's jump into Section 3, the deadliest front line. Welcome to the 104th Division in Chore 1. So instead of taking a cushy desk job, Minjin intentionally volunteers for the lethal, freezing front lines. Why? Because more monsters equal more demonic energy. Simple as that. And it doesn't take long for him to flex his tactical genius. During a drill, a captive Cyclops breaks protocol, eats another monster, and goes completely berserk. It turns into a high-speed, regenerating nightmare. While the officers are full-on panicking, Minjin treats it like a mild annoyance. He dodges these blindingly fast attacks, unloads into its regenerating eye, and solos the boss literally just to win a petty time trial bet against a hazing corporal. You can't make this stuff up. And the wild stunts just keep coming. During a base emergency, a swarm of fire-spitting middle bats attacks their vital oil reserve. Everyone else freezes, terrified of causing an explosion. Minjun, he grabs a standard-issue electric fly swatter, charges it up with his dark magic, and drops this absolutely epic line about a bat getting burned when it plays with fire. Then he just aggressively swats these flaming monsters out of the sky like they're annoying mosquitoes. By farming these encounters, swatting bats, hunting irregular bosses, Minjin's power starts scaling exponentially. As you can see, his skill tree is filling out fast. He grabs Nightwalker to summon shadow familiars. He unlocks Dark Arrow for ranged demonic damage. But the real game changer is Demonic Singularity, which lets him completely mask the scent of his dark magic for military sensors. He's literally building an overpowered arsenal right under their noses. Which brings us to Section 4, Epic Boss Fights and Promotions, catching the eyes of the top generals. As his powers scale up, the threats get way bigger, pushing him onto massive battlefields. Take the Deathcrawler ambush. This colossal worm monster burrows into the sand, completely evading two high-ranking battalion commanders. Total stalemate. But Minjin orchestrates this insane, high-speed jeep ambush. In a move straight out of an action movie, he leans out of the speeding jeep, snatches a spear out of the sand mid-drive, and perfectly sets up the killing blow. He proves right there that he can match the tactical wit of veterans who have decades of experience. 2 million credits. Just wrap your head around that number for a second. That is the staggering bounty of a giant ogre that wanders into their territory. While his whole unit is trying to cautiously set up a perimeter, Minjin just casually walks right up to it. He infuses his fist with demonic energy and delivers a knuckle sandwich so devastating he knocks the tank-like beast completely out cold, which lets the military capture it alive, which is an incredibly rare and lucrative win. Naturally, these impossible feats start turning heads at the very top of the food chain. You simply can't solo a Cyclops, outmaneuver a Deathcrawler, and punch out an ogre without someone noticing. General Taiho and Major General Du basically start a proxy war over him. They're showering him with rare magical rune stones, throwing off-the-books promotions at him, and just desperately trying to recruit this absolute anomaly into their elite special task forces. To put that into perspective, look at this rapid ascent. He enlists as a rookie private and skyrockets all the way to sergeant in a matter of months. That is completely unheard of in the Hunter Corps. It really highlights how Minjun's greedy, insatiable hunger for demonic energy is directly translating into real-world military rank and influence. He's playing the military system just as hard as they are trying to play him. But of course, there's a catch. To secure his ultimate promotion to the Special Task Force, the commander assigns him to clear a highly unstable double-layer dungeon. This is a lethal threat that demands the absolute best of the best. So as we leave Minjin stepping into the dark armed with his newly unlocked Darksider skill, you really have to ask yourself, just how overpowered is this Dark Mage going to become when he finally unleashes his full potential? You definitely won't want to miss what happens next.